You ever have that feeling of needing to prove yourself? Boy, have I. I was around 8 at the time, and our family went to India to visit my grandparents. One day, my grandma asked me to put some bags into our car. And while I was carrying the bags towards the car, I saw my cousins struggling to open the door. What a sorry sight, watching them struggle to open the car's door. But to me, they were still the coolest kids around. Their struggle looked like an opportunity under my eyes. An opportunity to be one of them. So after quickly putting the bags inside the trunk of the car, I grabbed the key out of their hands and opened the car. And I did not stop there. See, in India, most of the cars are manual transmission cars, where we have to switch the gear to neutral and then start the car. And you would think that that's news to tell me, because the moment I started the car, I went flying forward. I was lucky to have pulled the key out of the ignition in time. This was probably the stupidest risk I've ever taken in my life. Did I learn how to turn on a car? Yeah. Did I nearly kill myself in the process? Yeah. This is what worries me about today's society. The risks we take in our lives, or lack thereof. The term risk-taking is something many of us bring scorn upon. The moment someone brings up the risky road, someone else closes it down immediately, and we all end up having to take a detour. So first, let's get into our car and understand the nature of risk-taking and why some people don't take risks. Next, let's start up the car and understand the effects of taking risks. And finally, let's flip out of the car and learn to go down that risky road. Risk-taking is complex. It seems that for every different person, the term risk-taking is perceived differently. According to R.M. Trimpops, The Psychology of Risk-Taking Behavior, he asks, is the race car rider who rides 250 kilometers an hour a risk taker, or is the beginner who rides 25 through a downtown area at rush hour? Is a daring chess player more of a risk taker than a cautious motorcyclist? But no matter who the person is or where they come from, everyone has some sort of basic definition about taking chances. And that is going out of your comfort zone. But for many people, just thinking about leaving their comfort zone is enough to leave them sprawled up on the ground. Why? Simply because they're afraid of the final outcome, where they picture themselves flat out failing. Thomas Edison, the creator of the light bulb, once said, I know 999 ways on how not to make the light bulb. Know that sometimes it's better to take the risk and fail than play it safe and succeed. Because by taking the risk and failing numerous times, you know that many ways on how not to repeat the mistake. Now, this doesn't mean you should take every risk you think of. For instance, crossing a 4-lane highway, blindfolded in the dark and saying, I'll take whatever happens now like a man. Bad risk. Peacefully fighting for equality through boycotts and public preaching. I think MLK Jr. would tell you that that is a wonderful risk. Jumping off a plane with no parachute, betting it's all against the house. Bad risk. I hope you see what I'm getting at here. Don't take the risk just for the sake of taking it. You should always make sure that the chances you take are related to what you're trying to strive for. Just think of all the successful people out there and the chances they took to be where they are today. Bill Gates drops out of college. Steve Jobs drops out of college. Donald Trump insults pretty much everything and is still running for president. Other people. Another reason why people put risk-taking as a resort they won't quite get to. According to time, when we're little, we're looking for our parents or guardians for that pat on the back. We do this as we grow older. We do the same in the workplace. We become people pleasers and lose our own sense of purpose in the world. According to researcher Nuno DeVos, only about 0.7% of the world's population finds a true purpose for their lives. How? Simply by the risks they take. Take Walt Disney, for instance. While everyone around him called him and his idea a failure, he still took the risk and continued to pursue his animation and cartooning career. So, how do we keep an open mind towards risk-taking? Well, it's not easy. But in the end, you'll find yourself leading your life another direction. First off, understand that you could fail. It wouldn't be called a risk if you knew that you had a 100% chance of succeeding. But the key is, don't stop once you've failed once, twice, or even 1,000,000,000 times. Understand that taking the risk is all right, as long as it's something you believe in, of course. Think for yourself. Everywhere, people use alarmist language, encouraging us to be risk-averse. But don't let other people's negative criticism get in the way of achieving your goal. As long as it's something you're passionate about, then take the risks required to succeed. In the end of the long run, I'm betting you'll remember all the daredevil things you did in life, and not the sideline strategy. Because in the end, what matters most is the final outcome.